The silence was deafening. Commander Isaac Thorne stood on the bridge of the orbital station Watchtower Prime, staring at the tactical display that showed nothing but empty space where the colony ship New Horizon should have been. 3 days ago, the vessel had been carrying 50,000 colonists to the Kepler 442 system. Now, there was nothing. "Sir," Lieutenant Penelope Dax called out from her communication station, her voice tight with worry. "We're receiving a transmission from the outer system. It's not from any of our ships." Isaac's jaw tightened. "Put it through." The voice that filled the bridge was cold and mechanical, clearly artificial but carrying an unmistakable tone of authority. "Attention! Human vessels. This is Executive X-9 of the Dominion Collective. Your expansion into designated sectors has been deemed incompatible with galactic stability. All human colonization efforts will cease immediately." The transmission paused, and Isaac could hear his crew's sharp intake of breath. The Dominion Collective was a name whispered in fear across the galaxy, a union of 12 advanced species that had been maintaining order for over a millennium. "Your colony ship New Horizon has been detained," the voice continued. "Its population has been relocated to appropriate containment facilities. You have 72 hours to acknowledge compliance with Dominion directives. Failure to comply will result in escalated intervention protocols." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Isaac's hands clenched into fists. 50,000 innocent people, men, women, children, had been relocated like cargo. "Sir," came the voice of Dr. Amara Basil, the station's chief scientist, over the intercom. "We need to talk. I've been analyzing the quantum signatures from the attack site. What I found, it changes everything." Isaac made his way to the science lab, his mind racing. The Dominion Collective had been nothing more than rumors and ghost stories until now. Advanced species that appeared seemingly from nowhere, silencing entire civilizations that grew too ambitious. But they had never directly confronted humanity before. Dr. Basil was hunched over her workstation, her red hair disheveled from hours of analysis. "Commander, the energy readings from the attack site are off the charts. Whatever they used to disable the New Horizon, it's technology we've never seen before. But here's the thing, I found something else." She pulled up a holographic display showing quantum field distortions. "These patterns suggest they didn't just attack our ship. They've been watching us. For months, maybe years. Every colony ship, every exploration vessel, every military patrol they've been tracking, all of it." Isaac felt a chill run down his spine. "You're saying they've been planning this?" "Not just planning," Dr. Basil replied grimly. "They've been studying us, learning our capabilities, our weaknesses, our technology. The attack on the New Horizon wasn't random. It was a message." The implications hit Isaac like a physical blow. If the Dominion had been watching humanity for years, then they knew about Earth's defenses, about the colonial fleet, about everything. The human race had been living in a cage, and they were only now seeing the bars. "There's something else," Dr. Basil continued. "The quantum signatures match historical records from the Kepler archive. Remember the disappearance of the Tau Ceti expedition 12 years ago? The vanished colonies on Wolf 359? They weren't lost to navigation errors or equipment failures. They were taken by the Dominion." Isaac's blood ran cold. The Tau Ceti expedition had been humanity's first major colonial effort, 30,000 people who had simply vanished without a trace. The official report had blamed dark matter storms and navigation errors. But if Dr. Basil was right, then the Dominion had been systematically eliminating human expansion for over a decade. "Get me a direct line to Fleet Admiral Rivera," Isaac ordered. "And Dr. Basil, I need you to run a full analysis of all our deep space missions from the past 15 years. If the Dominion has been hunting us, I want to know exactly how many people we've lost." Admiral Patricia Rivera's face appeared on the main screen, her expression grim. The Fleet Admiral was known for her unshakable composure, but Isaac could see the worry in her eyes. "Commander Thorne, I've been briefed on the situation. The Dominion's ultimatum has been received by all major Earth governments. We have 68 hours to respond." Admiral Dr. Basil has evidence that this isn't an isolated incident. The Dominion has been systematically eliminating human expansion for years. They've been studying us, learning our capabilities. The Admiral's face hardened. "Then we're not just dealing with a diplomatic crisis. We're dealing with a species that's been planning our extinction." She paused, her fingers drumming against her desk. "Commander, I'm authorizing Code Black protocols. Project Cerberus is now active." Isaac felt his heart skip a beat. Cerberus was a legend within the military, a rumored black project that had been consuming massive resources for the past decade. Most officers assumed it was just another weapons program, but the security around it was unlike anything in human history. "Sir," Lieutenant Dax interrupted, her voice urgent. "We're receiving multiple transmissions from across the system. The Dominion isn't just targeting our colony ships. They're hitting everything: mining operations, research stations, even civilian passenger vessels." Isaac turned to the tactical display. Red markers were appearing throughout the solar system, each one representing a human facility or vessel that had gone silent. The Dominion wasn't just making a statement, they were systematically dismantling human space presence. "Commander?" Dr. Basil called out, her voice filled with a mixture of fear and fascination. "I'm picking up massive energy signatures just outside the heliopause. Whatever's coming, it's big." The long-range sensors detected them first 13 ships emerging from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. Each vessel was the size of a small city, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly metal that seemed to absorb light. The ships moved in perfect formation, their advance slow and deliberate. "My God," Lieutenant Dax whispered. "They're beautiful." Isaac had to agree. The Dominion vessels were works of art, their flowing lines and crystalline structures unlike anything in human design. But there was something terrifying about their perfection, as if they had been crafted by beings who had transcended the need for practicality. "Sir," came the voice of Captain Dylan Cross from the patrol ship Defiant. "We're detecting energy buildups on the lead vessels. They're charging some kind of weapon system." Isaac's training kicked in. "All ships, implement. Scatter formation. Do not engage unless fired upon. We need to buy time." The Dominion fleet continued its advance, ignoring the human vessels completely. They moved through the outer system like sharks through water, their sensors probing every human installation they encountered. When they found resistance, they acted with surgical precision. Energy beams lanced out, not to destroy, but to disable. Within hours, every human presence beyond Mars had been neutralized. "They're not trying to kill us," Dr. Basil observed, studying the attack patterns. "They're trying to contain us." Isaac nodded grimly. "They want us alive. The question is why." The answer came when the Dominion fleet reached Earth's orbit. The lead ship, a massive dreadnought that dwarfed anything in human space, positioned itself directly above the planet. Its communications array activated, broadcasting to every receiver on Earth. "Humans of the third planet," the mechanical voice announced. "Your species has been evaluated by the Dominion Collective. Your expansion into the galactic community has been deemed premature and potentially hazardous. You will be relocated to a designated sanctuary world where your development can be properly managed." The transmission paused, and Isaac could imagine the panic that must be spreading across Earth's surface. 12 billion people had just been told they were being evicted from their own world. "You have 24 hours to prepare for relocation," the voice continued. Resistance will be met with appropriate force. Your cooperation will ensure minimal casualties during the transition." The transmission ended, leaving humanity with an impossible choice: submit to forced relocation or face the consequences of defying the most powerful alliance in the galaxy. But the Dominion had made one critical error. They had assumed that humanity would react like every other species they had encountered, with fear, submission, and acceptance of their fate. They had never dealt with a species that had spent its entire evolutionary history fighting against impossible odds. Deep beneath the surface of Mars, in a facility that didn't exist on any official records, Project Cerberus stirred to life. Admiral Rivera's authorization codes activated systems that had been dormant for years, waiting for the day when humanity would need them most. Dr. Kenji Nakamura, the project's lead scientist, stood in the main control room, watching as massive screens displayed the awakening of humanity's greatest secret. Around him, technicians worked frantically to bring online systems that pushed the boundaries of human understanding. "Status report," Admiral Rivera demanded as she entered the facility, her security detail flanking her on both sides. "Admiral," Dr. Nakamura replied, his voice barely concealing his excitement. "All primary systems are online. The neural integration protocols are functioning within normal parameters. We are ready to begin the awakening sequence." Admiral Rivera nodded, her expression grim. Then it's time the galaxy learned what humans do when their backs are against the wall. The Cerberus facility was a marvel of human engineering, built into the core of an asteroid that had been secretly hollowed out and moved to Mars orbit. But the real miracle wasn't the facility itself, it was what lay sleeping within its depths. 12 massive chambers lined the central hub, each containing a ship unlike anything in human history. The vessels were sleek and predatory, their hulls composed of adaptive metamaterials that could reconfigure themselves based on tactical requirements. But the most remarkable feature was their control system's neural interfaces that allowed human consciousness to merge directly with the ship's AI. "The Dominion thinks they understand us," Admiral Rivera said, addressing the 12 pilots who had been selected for the Cerberus program. "They've studied our technology, our tactics, our history. But they've made one fatal mistake. They've never seen what humans can do when we stop holding back." The pilots were humanity's finest test pilots, combat veterans, and individuals with the rare neural compatibility required for the Cerberus interface. Each had volunteered for a program they barely understood, knowing only that it might be humanity's last hope. Lieutenant Commander Alexis Kane stepped forward, her neural interface crown gleaming under the facility's lights. "Admiral, the pilots are ready. We've been training for this moment for 5 years." "I know," Admiral Rivera replied. "And I'm sorry it's come to this. The neural integration process is intense. Once you're connected, you won't be quite human anymore. You'll be something new." The pilots exchanged glances. They had been briefed on the risks, the possibility of losing their humanity to the machine consciousness, the chance that they might never be able to disconnect, the reality that they were volunteering to become living weapons. "With respect, Admiral," said Commander Lucas Reed, the senior pilot. "We stopped being ordinary humans the moment we signed up for this program. We're ready to become whatever humanity needs us to be." The neural integration process began simultaneously across all 12 chambers. The pilots lay back in their interface chairs as thousands of microscopic filaments connected to their nervous systems. The sensation was unlike anything they had experienced, their consciousness expanding beyond their physical bodies, merging with the ship's AI to create something greater than the sum of its parts. Commander Kane felt her awareness explode outward as her mind touched the ship's systems. She could feel the pulse of the fusion reactor, the whisper of the inertial dampeners, the deadly potential of the plasma cannons. But more than that, she could feel the ship's hunger, a predatory intelligence that had been waiting for this moment. "Integration complete," Dr. Nakamura announced. All 12 units are showing optimal neural synchronization. The Cerberus Armada is awake. The ships rose from their hidden berths like ancient dragons stirring from slumber. Their hulls shimmered as the adaptive armor reconfigured itself. Weapons systems emerged from concealed compartments, and sensor arrays unfolded like metallic flowers. Each vessel was a fusion of human engineering and something else, an artificial intelligence that had been designed to think like a human, but with the processing power of a quantum computer. Cerberus 1 to control. Commander Kane's voice carried a subtle harmonic that hadn't been there before. Systems are optimal. We are ready to engage. Admiral Rivera felt a chill as she listened to the pilots' voices. They were still human, but something had changed. There was a cold precision in their words, a predatory patience that spoke of minds that had touched something beyond human understanding. Cerberus Armada, you are authorized to engage Dominion forces. Show them what happens when someone threatens humanity's home. The 12 ships of the Cerberus Armada burst from Mars' orbit like hunting wolves. Their passage through space was unlike anything human vessels had achieved before they moved with a fluid grace that seemed to defy physics, their adaptive hulls shifting configuration to optimize for speed and stealth. The Dominion fleet detected them almost immediately. Sensors that had been designed to track conventional spacecraft struggled to lock onto the Cerberus vessels as their adaptive armor scattered electromagnetic radiation in impossible patterns. "Unknown vessels," came the mechanical voice of the Dominion commander. "You will halt your advance and submit to scanning. Resistance will result in immediate termination." Commander Kane's response was transmitted on all frequencies, ensuring that every human settlement in the system would hear it. "This is Cerberus, one of the Human Defense Fleet. You have threatened our home, taken our people, and demanded our surrender. We have a different proposal." The 12 ships spread out in perfect formation, their movements coordinated by the neural link that connected the pilots. They moved like a single organism, each vessel anticipating the other's actions with inhuman precision. "You wanted to see what humans are capable of," Commander Kane continued. "Let us show you." The first engagement was swift and brutal. The Cerberus ships attacked the Dominion fleet's flanking vessels with weapons that seemed to bend the laws of physics. Plasma streams curved around defensive shields, kinetic projectiles phased through solid matter, and energy beams that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The Dominion forces, despite their technological superiority, found themselves facing an enemy unlike anything in their experience. The Cerberus ships fought with a combination of human unpredictability and machine precision that their tactical algorithms couldn't compensate for. "Impossible," the Dominion commander transmitted as his formation began to collapse. "Their technology should not be capable of this level of integration." But the Cerberus Armada was just getting started. As the battle progressed, the ships began to adapt their tactics in real time, their human pilots feeding creativity and intuition into AI systems that could calculate millions of variables simultaneously. They fought like no human force had ever fought before, and like no machine intelligence had ever been programmed to fight. Commander Reed found himself face-to-face with the Dominion flagship, his ship's weapons locked onto the massive vessel's command center. For a moment, he hesitated. The ship contained thousands of alien crew members, beings who were following orders just as he was. But then he remembered the 50,000 colonists who had been relocated, the mining crews who had been contained, the countless humans who had simply vanished over the years. The Dominion had treated humanity like cattle, and now they were learning what happened when cattle developed claws. "Cerberus 4, firing," Reed announced, his voice carrying no emotion as his ship's main cannon discharged. The beam that struck the Dominion flagship was unlike anything in human weapons technology. It didn't just penetrate the ship's shields, it unraveled them at the quantum level, turning the defensive energy back on the ship itself. The massive vessel shuddered as its own protective systems became weapons of self-destruction. Executor Vex 9 to all units. The Dominion commander's voice had lost its mechanical certainty. Implement tactical withdrawal. These humans possess capabilities not indicated in our analysis. But the Cerberus Armada wasn't finished. As the Dominion fleet tried to retreat, the human ships pursued with relentless efficiency. Their adaptive hulls reconfigured for maximum speed, their weapons systems charged with the fury of a species that had been pushed too far. The running battle lasted for hours, stretching across the entire solar system. The Dominion forces, despite their technological advantages, found themselves systematically outmaneuvered and outgunned by an enemy that seemed to anticipate their every move. "How are they doing this?" demanded Sub-Executor Kex 4 from the tactical center of the second-largest Dominion vessel. "Their neural patterns suggest biological intelligence, but their response times are approaching quantum processing levels." The answer came from an unexpected source. Deep in the ship's analysis center, a junior researcher named Yel7 had been studying the captured human data when she made a disturbing discovery. "Sub-Executor," she reported, her voice tight with concern. "I believe we have misunderstood the nature of human consciousness. They do not simply use artificial intelligence, they integrate with it. They have created a hybrid form of intelligence that combines organic creativity with digital processing power." The implications were staggering. The Dominion had encountered thousands of species, but none had ever attempted to merge biological and artificial intelligence. The very concept was considered impossible by their greatest scientists. "If this is true," Sub-Executor Kex 4 said slowly, "then we are not fighting humans. We are fighting something new." The battle reached its climax when the Cerberus Armada surrounded the remaining Dominion vessels near Jupiter. The alien ships, once proud symbols of galactic supremacy, now looked like wounded predators facing a pack of hunters. "Executor Vex 9, Commander Kane's voice carried across all frequencies. "You came here to silence humanity. You believed we were primitive, chaotic, unworthy of a place in your ordered galaxy. But you made one critical error." The Dominion commander's response was barely audible. "What error?" "You assumed that evolution stops," Kane replied. "You've been the apex predators for so long that you forgot what it means to adapt or die. Humans never had that luxury. We've been fighting for survival since we first stood upright. And now we've learned to fight with tools you can't even comprehend." The Cerberus ships began to close in, their weapons charging for the final strike. But instead of destroying the Dominion fleet, Commander Kane transmitted an offer that would echo across the galaxy. "You have a choice," she announced. "Return our people, all of them, from every colony and ship you've taken over the years. Withdraw from human space and never return. Do this, and we will let you live to carry a message to the rest of the galaxy." "And if we refuse?" Executor Vex 9 asked. Commander Kane's response was cold and final. "Then you will learn why humans have never been conquered by anything not ice ages, not plagues, not wars, and certainly not by species who mistake technological superiority for evolutionary fitness." The Dominion commander looked at his tactical display, seeing the 12 human ships that had systematically destroyed the most powerful fleet in galactic history. His options were limited surrender and face the humiliation of defeat, or fight and face total annihilation. "I will consider your terms," he said finally. "You have 6 hours," Kane replied. "After that, we stop being diplomatic." The next 6 hours were the longest in Dominion history. Emergency councils were convened across 12 star systems as the most powerful alliance in the galaxy grappled with the unthinkable They had been defeated by a species they had dismissed as primitive. The decision, when it came, was unanimous. The Dominion would comply with human demands, but not out of mercy or justice. They would comply because they had looked into the abyss of human capability and realized that their own survival depended on it. "Humans of Earth," Executive Vex-9 transmitted, his voice carrying a new tone of respect. "The Dominion Collective agrees to your terms. All human populations will be returned to their designated territories. We will withdraw from your space and establish a neutral zone around your expansion routes." The transmission paused, and when it continued, there was something almost like wonder in the artificial voice. "Your species has achieved something that we believed impossible. You have transcended the limitations of biological intelligence without losing the essence of what makes you human. The galaxy will remember this day." As the Dominion fleet retreated, carrying with them the rescued human colonists and crews, the Cerberus Armada maintained its vigil. The 12 hybrid ships hung in space like guardian angels, their neural pilots forever changed by their fusion with artificial intelligence. Commander Kane found herself able to perceive the universe in ways that no human had ever experienced. She could feel the gravitational dance of the planets, the whisper of cosmic radiation, the pulse of distant stars. But underneath it all, she could still feel her humanity, the love for her species, the determination to protect them, the knowledge that they had crossed a threshold from which there was no return. "Admiral Rivera," she transmitted to the hidden facility on Mars, "mission accomplished. The Dominion is withdrawing, but there's something you need to know." "Go ahead, Commander." "We're not the same people who entered these ships. The integration process has changed us at a fundamental level. We're still human, but we're also something else. Something new." Admiral Rivera was quiet for a long moment. "Do you regret it?" Kane looked out at the stars, her enhanced perception showing her the vast tapestry of the galaxy. Somewhere out there, other species were probably watching, learning, preparing their own responses to humanity's emergence as a galactic power. "No," she said finally. "We've become what humanity needs us to be. Guardians, protectors, the bridge between what we were and what we're becoming." The Cerberus Armada took up permanent positions throughout the solar system, their vigilant watch ensuring that humanity would never again be caught off guard. The pilots, forever changed by their fusion with artificial intelligence, had become humanity's eternal guardians, no longer fully human, but carrying within them the essence of everything that made humanity special. As word of the battle spread across the galaxy, species that had never heard of humans suddenly found themselves re-evaluating their understanding of evolution, consciousness, and the nature of intelligence itself. The Dominion's defeat sent shockwaves through the galactic community, forcing ancient civilizations to confront the reality that they were no longer the apex predators they had believed themselves to be. But for humanity, the victory was bittersweet. They had won their freedom and secured their future, but at the cost of 12 of their finest becoming something beyond human understanding. The Cerberus pilots would forever stand watch at the threshold between humanity and the vast darkness of space, guardians who had sacrificed their humanity to preserve it for everyone else. In the end, the galaxy learned an important lesson. You can try to silence humanity, but we will always find a way to make our voices heard. And sometimes, when we speak, the universe itself listens. The age of human expansion had begun, and it would be written in the stars by the hybrid intelligence of the Cerberus Armada, forever human, forever machine, forever watching. The story of the Cerberus Armada would be remembered as the day humanity stopped being prey and became predator. It was the day we learned that evolution never stops, and that sometimes the greatest leaps forward come from the courage to become something new.